let's turn our attention to Oklahoma because I know you want to talk about them.
Oh, I'd
But
love
how
to.
how did it feel to beat Oklahoma this year, where there were a lot of voices, a lot of chatter on the outside saying Oklahoma was better, Oklahoma was going to win. I'll be honest, I was one of those voices. I picked Oklahoma to win
I
that
think I
game.
think all three of us picked Oklahoma to win that
Yeah,
game.
probably.
Well,
So
thank you guys. Yeah.
so how did that feel?
Yeah. No, it's a rival, right? It's a rivalry. And so anybody who's invested in that rivalry, much like, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, you take that, you take the expectation or what you think is going to happen, and you might as well toss it out the window because you just never know. Um, I looked at the matchup as Texas has a bigger chip on their shoulder than I ever expected them to have at that point of the season. And I think that played into how you saw the physicality play out in the second half. Um, and so it felt it certainly felt gratifying to see Texas, now 3 out of the last 4 years just completely dominate OU. And you'll hear a lot of OU fans say, "Oh, well, we were down, to, you know, Davis, whatever his name was, back and down nine receivers, and we were just depleted on our roster." And we don't care. You're a rival. We don't care if you have to play a walk on quarterback. We just know that we beat you, 49-0 and 34-3 and all these, dominating performances. And so it just felt almost like, Sark needed to prove himself. Arch needed to prove himself. Texas's grit and toughness needed to prove itself. And when you take a performance like that in probably the most important game, like I know that Georgia's a huge opponent coming up, and I know A&M's a huge opponent coming up. But when it comes to at least the temperature of rivalries right now, Texas OU is where it's at for Texas. To dominate Oklahoma in the second half like they did just was like almost surprising, but also as equally rewarding as it was surprising. And
Yeah.
I know that Texas would want nothing more than to just keep winning to keep OU away from any kind of like storybook or Cinderella ending to the season. So as long as Texas keeps winning, they have Oklahoma behind them, which I know is important to Texas.